In the criminal justice system, the people are represented by two separate yet equally important groups: the police who investigate crime and the district attorneys who prosecute the offenders. These are their stories.
Cause, man, this is, I have a feeling, Josh, that we're gonna have a pretty popular, uh, series doing this. I mean, I'm sure hoping so. What about you, buddy?
Yeah, um, I think so. Yeah, this is.
Kind of important for a reason. Not everyone
Yeah.
knows the biblical truth, why it's significant, why people need to pay attention to the biblical truth. And because of this, me and my friend Josh here have decided to plan the likes of Secular Media Breakdown, a sort of concept idea for covering the likes of games, shows, movies, music, etc. And today, we come before you all to talk about what was honestly such a tragedy that we didn't end up getting it in the end, truly. Final Fantasy Versus 13.
Mm.
For me and Josh here are huge fans of Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts is one of our favorite game franchises for a reason.
Mhm.
And as someone who loved Tetsuya Nomura's work, I I was so excited for this game when it was going to come out. And while Josh may not have been able to be here by my side when this was releasing, this is such a trip of a story here for a reason.
Hmm.
And it's why we're also choosing the likes of Law and Order's theme song for the theme song of this.
Yeah.
As honestly, as a pair of nerds who just simply love the the likes of the work that we see people like Tetsuya Nomura pull off, this was something that I so badly wanted to happen back when I was younger. When I was specifically there for the release of Final Fantasy Versus 13, or what was renamed Final Fantasy 15.
Hmm.
And that is because this wasn't actually, in the end, the likes of a true Final Fantasy Versus 13 experience.
Yeah.
This was sadly a tragedy in how it got screwed over because of the greed that we face in these industries. And it is why Secular Media Breakdown is going to be a thing to show people the likes of the biblical truth, why it is significant,
Hmm.
and why you need to pay attention to it more. For you see, Final Fantasy Versus 13 was what was something that I was so excited for back when I was first paying attention to it.
Hmm.
And I thought that I was going to get the proper game on release. And it was something that I wanted because of how I was a fan of Tetsuya Nomura growing up. Mainly due to Kingdom Hearts. But thanks to Kingdom Hearts, I became a fan of Square Enix. A
Yeah.
company that me and Josh here love dearly. Because the storylines that you have from Square Enix is such a trip. It is. It cannot be put into words. Yet, we're damn sure gonna try.
Hmm. Yeah.
As when it comes to the likes of Versus 13, this was something that was almost literally a grown up version of Kingdom Hearts.
Hmm.
The game and the gameplay that we already love from Kingdom Hearts is so fun, so engaging, so addictive
Hmm.
that it is hard to have not been wanting this to actually happen proper.
Yeah.
And as it stands now, Tetsuya Nomura is clearly someone who I honestly can't blame for being disappointed in what he put all of this work into, and it got screwed over in the end.
Mhm.
It is why Final Fantasy Versus 13 is something to pay attention to. And I also say this as someone who also was a fan of Final Fantasy 13 proper. A game that, honestly, I'm just going to be direct. I think people were way too harsh towards Final Fantasy 13. The characters were engaging, the universe was engaging, the lore in Final Fantasy 13 was engaging as a whole.
Mhm.
And this was almost what was connected to it in a very dark and gritty way. Because that's kind of the big thing that I am disappointed in this not getting to happen. The likes of what we almost had as an amazing game. And I say this as someone who loved Nomura's work, who loved Kingdom Hearts, who loved Final Fantasy, who wanted this to have been everything that it promised when it was announced and more.
Yeah.
And when it comes to it, people have even quoted this game as the great what if of gaming history. Because
Mhm.
of how much it was almost one of the most trippy game experiences ever. No ifs, ands, or
Yeah.
buts about it. It was one of the trippiest experiences they ever tried to throw together
Yeah.
as Square Enix. Now, it was quoted as a dark Shakespearean tragedy directed by Tetsuya Nomura. It felt as less like a road trip with the boys and more like a nocturnal urban fever dream. That if Square Enix weren't just extremely greedy in what they did to Final Fantasy Versus 13, it would have been one of the most amazing games ever created, period.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things that I always tripped out on was, well, from the first trailer, what we had as the freaking as the trailers that were such a trip to experience back then, before the game was ever released. Like
Yeah.
I took note of this game when I was, well, just a kid on PlayStation 3, which was one of my favorite consoles ever.
Yeah.
And I was imagining what could have been all too often with Versus 13. For example, we have here set a Just trying to... Internet browser capture. Oh, my bad.
That's okay.
It's a bit strange to try and pull this off. So,
Yeah.
for anyone who will be watching this in the future, you'll have to forgive me with still how I am adjusting to what it is like to do the likes of streaming on OBS.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing.
Right.
So this is all the trailers right here in one.
Yeah.
And with it, we will be taking a dive into the themes of Final Fantasy Versus 13. What was the goal of this story? What was the characters like? What was the journey as a whole like, even in the end? Because while this will contain spoilers, this is because I am someone who played at least the majority of Final Fantasy Versus 13. And that being the likes of, well, what I have now on Steam being the likes of Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition, which has all of the DLCs, or at least most of the DLCs combined together, aside from one that you have to buy. That being said, though, I'm at least glad that this was how I got it back for the sake of doing this episode. Because when I was someone who was first seeing this stuff, I remembered seeing people do mock trailers for Versus 13 in the likes of Little Big Planet. It was such a hyped game. It's not even funny. To where I finally realized why people were so excited for this, why people really wanted this to be a thing. Because people wanted to see what was the story going to be like in the end. Because that's another thing about Versus 13, is that you have a storyline that is very much one of the darkest stories that you've ever seen Tetsuya Nomura create. If you are a fan of Kingdom Hearts, then by all means, this is something that you should have been excited for. That being said, it only isn't able to be something you're excited for now because of what ended up happening.
Yeah.
So, let us start. From the staff of Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. Thing is, I also actually liked Advent Children myself, as someone who may not have finished Final Fantasy VII properly yet, but despite having not finished Final Fantasy VII properly, I've been invested in that game enough to where I can say, yeah, it was a trip that when this got announced, it got announced as from the staff of Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. And Advent Children was, well, the freaking game where we had, or not the game, admittedly, but the movie for Final Fantasy VII that was basically like a pseudo sequel to Final Fantasy VII itself. But it's a CGI movie, so it isn't a playable sequel per se. But the fighting scenes were so extremely flashy and fantastical and amazing that you couldn't help but love it. I ended up getting into Final Fantasy thanks to Advent Children, due to the fact that when I was someone who first interacted with Final Fantasy at all, I specifically went out of my way to do this because I didn't know about how I'd need to get a game that came before. I just simply blindly bought it because I was like, wait, that's Square Enix, the guys who made not Final Fantasy, made Kingdom Hearts, which was one of my favorite game franchises of all time.
Yeah.
So, when I saw Advent Children for the first time, despite not knowing the storyline properly, it was still extremely engaging. Due to the fact that you had this dystopian future reality that you're seeing characters that, well, I originally saw in Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
And thanks to that, I ended up freaking picking it up for the sake of basically seeing what was gonna be the story. Because I was like, whoa, my favorite game company is making a fully CGI animated movie? Sign me up.
Yeah.
When freaking Kingdom Hearts was as breathtaking as it was to begin with, this was like next level. You know what I'm saying?
And yeah, I mean, especially with the way, like, the whole Cloud fighting Sephiroth thing ended in Kingdom Hearts 2 when they're like, he went back to his own world.
Yeah. And you're kind of like, what the hell happened? Because what happened to Cloud? Especially,
Cloud and
especially when, you were so invested in the fights between Cloud and Sephiroth, especially if you were a Final Fantasy fan.
Yeah.
That the minute that you see them disappear ever, you're like, oh, fuck. But I want to know what happens next. Don't go cutting that out on me.
It the master of masters is just like, and Cloud and Sephiroth were never seen again, thus ending the Kingdom Hearts.
No joke, though. Like, because to be completely serious, like, people haven't even seen what happened between Cloud and Sephiroth since Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah.
So, literally, when I recognized this on the shelf of the local video store, I was like, "Wait, that's Cloud Strife from Kingdom Hearts. What the hell is he doing on a movie?"
Yeah. Nah, it's just freaking. I'm surprised there's not a theory out there that says that the Final Fantasy characters being great heroes were tired of getting beaten by a kid with a giant key.
Not to mention, honestly, I feel like it's kind of a bummer that Kingdom Hearts doesn't just simply go out of its way to go, oh yeah, it is literally the very same characters from Kingdom Hearts, from Final Fantasy, and they're freaking literally fighting each other in this dystopian reality of Kingdom Hearts, where Sora has to basically sometimes step in to help. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because honestly, I would have freaking loved to have seen Cloud and Sora team up proper. After
That'd be
all
cool.
the times that they specifically had fought each other in the early Kingdom Hearts stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they fought a lot in Kingdom Hearts. makes you go, is there ever going to be a real ending to this? Or is this just on loop?
Yeah, true.
Because if anything, it felt like it was just practically endlessly on loop in Kingdom Hearts. Which is why I went out of my way to check out Advent Children. Because I wanted to see what was Final Fantasy really about. And granted, it wasn't the absolute best introduction to Final Fantasy, due to the fact that you had basically the story picking up right after the original Final Fantasy VII. And because of that, it definitely just wasn't as engaging as you would have hoped. That being said, especially as someone who now knows the story of Final Fantasy VII, who knows why Cloud and Sephiroth fight, why you have also characters like Tifa involved, why you have Yuffie involved, why you have Aerith involved. Because if anything, they haven't been back in Kingdom Hearts proper aside from the tiny bit of the Remind DLC. You know what I mean? Like, aside from that, we've only seen Kingdom Hearts represent Final Fantasy uh, in the likes of the original game, the likes of the sequel on Game Boy Advance and PS2, then the likes of Kingdom Hearts 2 proper, then even also Birth by Sleep, to where we see the likes of uh, we see the likes of what we had with this rival here, and clearly Cloud still being connected to Zack Fair in some manner, but he but there was never any real resolve, like Cloud maybe, for example, asking Aerith, hey, what happened to Zack?
Yeah.
Like there was no resolve of what was happening there with all of that build up to begin with, which only was a disappointment because, well, it would have honestly been really great to see them actually continue to explore these Final Fantasy storylines in Kingdom Hearts. I mean, after all,
True.
Kingdom Hearts was established as a crossover franchise. And
Yeah.
due to that, it makes more than enough sense to have the likes of those stories still be involved. I mean, hell, we still haven't even freaking had Sephiroth return in a while. Like,
That is true.
the last time we saw Sephiroth was in Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah.
And maybe the little hint towards him in Birth by Sleep with Zack Fair. So so maybe it's more about Cloud freaking going after Sephiroth for revenge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Could be.
But that's just speculation right there, because, to be fair, they really haven't really gone much into those story details yet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that is true.
And it's a huge part of what I also kind of wish that Kingdom Hearts would focus on Final Fantasy more again, for the sake of getting to explore the ways that Final Fantasy was crossing over with Disney. I mean, after all, freaking you have Cloud freaking trying to hunt down Sephiroth, all freaking angry out of his damn mind because he wants to avenge his friend Zack Fair.
That is true. Yeah.
And because of that, you have honestly a pretty engaging story if you freaking were to kind of explore it a bit deeper.
Yeah.
I mean, I also was invested in the stuff behind The World Ends With You. I still have The World Ends With You 1's remaster on Switch, which I still have yet to play, but I keep on hearing from people how it's an amazing experience.
Yeah.
And of course, it's another game with Nomura's amazing art style that I honestly love, even though it can be kind of over the top sometimes with how many zippers and baggy pants and
Yeah.
and all the other stuff that you were seeing Nomura make use of all the time in Kingdom Hearts to begin with.
Yeah.
So with that, there was genuinely a sense of I wanted to see that actually get explored deeper. Sadly, we didn't get that. The other ways that I've personally been invested in Final Fantasy, though, is due to a lot of the spin-offs or side games in general, usually, like Final Fantasy Dissidia Duodecim.
Yeah.
And Dissidia Duodecim is such an amazing experience, down to where you had basically the people who were known for making Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 being involved in the combat system for this game.
Yeah.
And due to that, you had just an amazing lineup of songs from throughout the entire series being added into the soundtrack like this with remixes.
Yeah.
And Final Fantasy XIII specifically is something that I also feel like was misrepresented a little too much, because people back then gave Final Fantasy Final Fantasy XIII so much crap because of how the characters came off very unlikable originally. But to be fair, it was because they were all literally forced into this situation where they were forced to serve so-called gods.
Yeah, and but yeah.
And because of that, it's also basically a fighter on PSP, where you have the likes of a huge roster of characters from Final Fantasy, both the mainline games and even the likes of the villains you got to see in there too. It was such a trip of a game overall.
True. That's...
And I say that because if you ever freaking saw the gameplay, it's a trip. Because it really does look like Kingdom Hearts gameplay, but turned into like a freaking action RPG.
Yeah.
That is 2-player. And that being kind of one of the best things about it was that it was a 2-player experience.
Yeah.
This is going to show gameplay from Dissidia NT, which was a arcade spin-off.
Yeah.
That might not look as clean as the gameplay from the original PSP games, but still very engaging. And, of course, the beauty of Final Fantasy in all the different places that you're seeing the characters fighting. Like, here you're seeing, like, this moon in the background, all these stars in the background, too. Like, almost like you're literally on a desolate planet, fighting with the likes of the characters. And if I'm trying to remember this right, I want to say that this is a world from Final Fantasy VIII, or not 8, Final Fantasy VI, which was a Super Nintendo classic. That people went crazy for back then. Like, no joke.
Yeah.
But not only did they have that, you have the likes of quite the interesting antagonists, since the likes of Dissidia also takes all these characters from the mainline games and kind of gives them a universe to fight together in, or to fight against each other in. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
To where this is actually a free game that is available on PS4 and 5, and I want to say that this was also available on Xbox One and Series, but I might be wrong about that.
Yeah, it's a.
And you can see Noctis in the background too in this.
Yeah.
Right there, trying to freaking run around Lightning and whoop her ass. And failing miserably here.
Yeah.
And definitely Blinded by Light. Such a biblical name just by that alone.
True.
Because
yeah,
because that right there alone symbolizes how Lucifer is our enemy.
Yeah. And in a way, it kind of could be a throwback to the Book of Acts, where Paul, or at the time his name was Saul, he was going around persecuting Christians, and then Jesus met him on the road to Damascus, and he was blinded.
Mm.
And then he obviously turned to Jesus after that.
Right.
Yeah.
So it really is very much a biblical freaking song name there alone.
Yeah.
And because of that, it's a good part of why "Blinded by Light" is a important song in the soundtrack for 13. But despite that, we're trying to also get around to Final Fantasy Versus 13, but
Yeah.
I guess I'm just
Yeah. But with your talking about it being like maybe a reference to Lucifer. It is interesting that the main character's name is Lightning,
yeah.
uh, and like Jesus said, I saw Satan fall as lightning from heaven.
Yeah. No
Yeah,
shit. That alone
yeah,
actually is very significant right there when you think about it.
yeah,
And as you can see, the original game was more turn-based focused, you know?
yeah.
And honestly, if you ever see this for cheap on Xbox, I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
Because it is not expensive. It is also specifically a game that doesn't have like a bunch of DLC that you have to buy just to make sure that you have the whole game experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I will say that that is probably where I am the most frustrated with the modern game industry, is how you have the likes of all of these game these game what's the word I'm looking for here, these gameplay structures with microtransactions more and more as it goes on,
Yeah.
which interestingly enough actually may have something to do with Jeffrey Epstein.
Uh,
And if anything, makes sense to me as to why it freaking suddenly got so over the top greedy.
yeah.
But getting back to the actual Versus 13 trailers. So this is a compilation of all the trailers that was released over the time that it was around. And it's why I have this video pulled up here. Because get ready, because this is going to include a lot of gratuitous gore and blood.
Mm-hmm.
To where there's probably a reason why you don't see Verum Rex being represented properly as Versus 13, and you're seeing specifically Noctis in the role. As someone who has to literally face Sora and freaking and try and quell Sora's anger, you know? Or try to. Because, let's be real, freaking, I wouldn't be surprised if, if the whole canonical story there is how Sora shows up in this alternate universe and is all kinds of like, who the hell are you? I'm Noctis. And you are as good as dead.
Yeah.
like just flat out, like, I'm gonna fuck your ass up now. Get ready.
Just imagine then it just turns to the freaking French narrator from SpongeBob, where it's like 2,000 years later, and then the person's still playing, trying to defeat Yozora.
That is actually pretty funny. And I guess I'm also now just thinking, I guess with like the AI stuff that you can pull off these days, you could probably end up freaking pulling off turning Yozora into Noctis proper.
Yeah.
And then just it being versus 13 proper, no trying to cover it up because you're just trying to make sure that they just leave you the fuck alone and let you do your job.
Yeah.
Because let's be real, that's definitely what Nomura is doing here. He's trying his best to try and please Square Enix with what is happening with the Verum Rex versus 13 storyline here. And I'll say this, honestly, it should have freaking been versus 13 like a trailer having Noctis literally fighting Sora with Somnus in the background.
Oh yeah, that would be freaking awesome.
Down to where you're even seeing Riku show up and be like, "Damn it, Sora, where are you? Where are you? I was told you were here." And then just freaking in the background, you're just very barely hearing, "I'm getting my ass kicked from Noctis."
Just like
because I could imagine Sora actually getting a sense of anger over how much he had to freaking fight his ass off in those kind of boss fights.
Yeah, and then freaking
like how he freaking fought his ass off to fight Sephiroth, to fight the unknown figure, to fight Sephiroth again, to fight the 13 the
organization for data battles.
Yeah.
He's just
and then even specifically just how much you could imagine him just
and then freaking
just raging at freaking the Terra boss fight.
Oh my gosh.
Because that was such a hard boss fight for me as a kid. Or at least when I was younger, finally playing it for the first time. Like, it was cool to finally experience. Like, no joke. I loved that they finally did eventually give us the likes of the Kingdom Hearts Final Mix versions in countries outside of Japan. Because also, just being real, they freaking the fact that they did that as an exclusive thing in the first place was something that pissed me off as a kid.
But like pretty much you had to, like, if you wanted it, you pretty much had to
figure out a way to emulate it.
Or either that or get a Japanese PS2 and actually
and then
Get it?
get a PS2 to freaking play the Japanese version, getting freaking English translated by fans because
Yeah,
Square Enix didn't give a shit to do it for too damn long.
actually, the final mix versions had the Japanese text, but they had the English voices for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know why.
Eh.
It's just
Honestly, I
like,
feel like it might have to do with Square Enix just being a bunch of greedy assholes.
yeah, unless yeah, like probably,
Because
uh,
for me, the only time that I ever got to experience it from front to back, the likes of a Kingdom Hearts final mix experience was
yeah,
with Birth by Sleep,
yeah,
because it was so much easier to hack your PSP and then throw it on there digitally.
yeah,
uh, yeah. Learn to hack, or at least jailbreak, for the first time thanks to PSP.
uh, just yeah, uh,
uh, so literally, then you have freaking this come out when you are like a kid on PS3.
yeah,
And it's just such a trip.
yeah,
There's nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes
yeah,
it so. William Shakespeare. So they're quoting William Shakespeare, of all people, here in the trailer to start.
yeah,
Kind of interesting to go with him specifically first. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Because definitely, clearly, people were invested in this because of the Shakespearean influence that Versus 13 had originally.
yeah.
An isolated nation protected by an ancient line of kings. A modern civilization alive with the crystal song of swords and sorcery.
Yeah.
So basically, off the bat, they're talking about how specifically Noctis is significant due to the fact that he is essentially supposed to be the one protecting his nation with this crystal that is supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And the idea is that it gets freaking literally just taken from him out of nowhere. To where it's kind of a trip as it goes on.
Yeah.
But yes, Noctis looks all too much like Sasuke Uchiha from Naruto. Down to how he
Yeah.
has the red eyes. which is an
Yeah.
interesting coincidence, in all fairness.
Yeah.
Because if that wasn't actually what Nomura was planning to take inspiration from Naruto here, then then I can't help but ask, dude, what's up with the red eyes? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, are you trying to freaking make him have Sharingan?
Yes. That's funny. I mean, it would be even funnier if like the Sharingan it allowed him to copy abilities.
No joke. But it would also
Yeah.
be freaking terrifying, too.
Yeah.
Because imagine if he freaking did that and he could freaking copy Sora's ability to use the Keyblade.
Oh, that would be both terrifying and cool at the same
Badass.
time.
Exactly. Like, that would be so badass to see happen. Just because of the likes of how Sora is having to fight this guy.
You just friggin' Noctis just summoned.
Sora's just like, I don't want to fight you. I really don't. I'm just a peaceful kid. You're not
Yeah.
peaceful to me. Otherwise, why would you have that giant key? You trying to freaking fuck my ass with it?
Oh boy. Not, and then Noctis just summons his own Keyblade, and so it's like, oh come on.
Like,
Just
that would
like,
be so funny and so terrifying if that was what you experienced in the freaking boss fight like that.
yeah, but even better, freaking Sora's just like, gosh dang it, are you another Xehanort?
Let's be real, that would be fucking hilarious if he's like, oh come on, another Xehanort!
Yeah, just like we have however many of them. It's just like not even we can keep track.
Hold on just one sec. I'm gonna really quick get some water, okay?
All right.
Be right back. Alright, I'm back.
Yeah.
Honestly, I wished that instead we could be getting it properly in Kingdom Hearts.
True.
Since it would be so badass to have it properly in Kingdom Hearts, to where you're having Noctis teleporting around and freaking even being a party member
Yeah, that would be cool.
alongside the rest of his buddies, like Gladiolus, Ignis, Prompto.
Yeah.
Like, just have Noctis first show up and be like, Sora, right? I need your help. For my world is in danger, and only you can help it from being destroyed. And he'd be like, what do you mean, be destroyed? I'm not sure I understand. And he's all, oh, you'll understand in due time. Because the more that you get to walk around my world with me, the more you'll see what's going on.
Yeah.
And then you're just seeing all these clips from back when this was all trailers for the games. Down to where you're seeing Noctis freaking just basically telling Sora, look, I have no choice. I need your help. Otherwise, my world is gone. And perhaps your worlds may be gone too.
Yeah.
Because let's be real, it's very much an end of times kind of storyline here with Versus 13.
Yeah.
A lone kingdom fighting to forestall the outer world from imposing its heretic order. The struggle for the final crystal is merely a prologue to the chronicles of a new era.
Yeah. Sorry, your screen went off. Not the. Your screen for when you were screen sharing. It is.
Oh, is it screen sharing again?
No, not yet. Sorry.
I might just need to freaking guess do this.
Oh, yeah.
So, look, right here. A lone kingdom fighting to forestall the outer world from imposing its heretic order. The struggle for the final crystal is merely a prologue to the chronicles of a new era.
Yeah.
Look at all those soldiers there. And
Yep.
it's just him. And it's so badass, those freaking engine blades. That's what they're referred to as, the engine blades.
The engine blades? Huh.
Mm-hmm. One of the most iconic weapons in video games, period, I'd say.
Yeah.
Because for years, people were like, oh my god, this looks so cool! I want to play it! You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I know that the minute that I finally decided to give it a look, I was like, whoa! It's gonna be a grown-up Kingdom Hearts! Holy shit! Like, I was flipping the fuck out, dude, when I first saw this.
Yeah.
And this was, you know, what it was originally referred to as Final Fantasy Versus 13.
Yeah.
As apparently the likes of Final Fantasy 13, Versus 13, and Type 0 were all linked together. Maybe not super tightly, but they were linked together to where all three of these games were known as what was referred to as the Fabula Nova Crystallis.
Story of the New Crystal?
Yep.
Yeah.
What do you think of
Interesting.
that, dude?
That is interesting.
Right? So, when I freaking was first seeing this as a kid, I was like, whoa, dude! This is gonna be the next Final Fantasy!
Yeah.
And initially, people were excited because they thought that they were just simply renaming the likes of Versus 13 into Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah.
And because of that, people were willing to still treat it like it was a what's the word I'm looking for here? Like just this grand thing that genuinely people were getting crazy about it.
Yeah.
And because of that, we have this compilation of all the trailers right here.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, just over moments like freaking the freaking engine blade freaking revving up and shit. You know, shit was about to get fucking real, dude.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking how fun this would have been as a boss fight. Noctis proper.
Yeah.
Especially with his ability to freaking teleport around and shit, dude. It would have made Noctis both a challenge and not just a challenge, but a extremely trippy boss fight. You know what I mean? Especially if they actually cared to include also the likes of Somnus in the soundtrack like that.
That would be so cool.
Because Somnus is like this kind of freaking... This kind of trip of a freaking... of a story in the lyrics that when people freaking look at the lyrics themselves, they freaking trip out over what was going to be the case.
Yeah.
And this right here is for the sake of the lyrics. I mean, the biblical significance of these lyrics, dude. Like God is sleeping and his children start a fire sounds very End of Times. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what they did to the freaking logo. Because beforehand, this right here was supposed to be the goddess Etro,
Yeah.
who was built up as this freaking trippy pagan goddess that freaking had all these plans for humanity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then right here is Noctis, but right here in this logo for Final Fantasy 15, that's supposed to be Luna, the female character that Noctis had the romance with. That was going to be a lot deeper than just simply a romance. Because what we ended up having here was just a simple romance here.
Yeah.
To where you never saw why this was the logo. With the goddess Etro sleeping.
Yeah.
And because of that, it's kind of a trip just over that alone.
Yeah.
One of the storyline ideas about it, well, here's okay. So this was from the AI that gave me this information. The great what if of gaming history. Before it was rebranded as Final Fantasy 15 in 2013, Versus 13 was a dark Shakespearean tragedy directed by Tetsuya Nomura. It felt like a road trip with the boys, and more like a nocturnal urban fever dream. If Square Enix had actually finished the original version, here is how the game would have likely looked. The tone, a reality based on fantasy. So this is one of the main reasons why I wanted to do this breakdown. Due to the fact that a reality based on fantasy, people don't realize why that is a significant quote right there.
Yeah.
Because in reality, that's a significant quote due to the fact that people don't realize what is happening in reality to begin with. People don't realize that God exists, that Jesus exists, that the Holy Bible is literal history. And because of this, it makes it come off like a fantasy when you have these secular media breakdowns as well of these themes to begin with.
Yeah.
Hence why you have the likes of what was famously bleak becoming now something that that wasn't nearly as dark as it almost was. Which is one of the things that is a bummer about Final Fantasy 15, because for as much as I loved Final Fantasy 15 for many reasons too, the likes of what was originally famously intended in this storyline, thanks to Nomura-san, is such a trip. To start with, due to the whole tagline, a reality based on fantasy.
Yeah.
So, in the world of Final Fantasy 15 slash Versus 13, we have what was the city that it took place in to start.
Yeah.
This was one of the main buildings right here, the Citadel of Insomnia. A literal citadel being basically the main castle for Noctis and his father.
Yeah.
And because of this, you had what was clearly going to be kind of a trip to begin with just this design alone. Especially when you have the likes of Noctis freaking teleporting up and around it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is some more stuff that showed Shinjuku what was meant to be the city of Insomnia.
Yeah.
Because they clearly took okay, here we go. During the first leg in Square Enix's planned lecture tours, Yusuke Naura? Yeah, because I'm not sure how else to pronounce that, admittedly. I do my best to pronounce the likes of these names from different languages best I can.
Yeah. I mean, the actual Japanese pronunciation, I think it would be like as if you were saying the A and the O together, but really fast, like Naura. Naura.
Naora.
Yeah, like for
Naura.
example, the name Kanao.
So maybe more like Yusuke Naora.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yusuke Naora. Or, yeah.
Okay. A legendary figure in the world of Japanese RPGs. Since you're looking at the concept art for Final Fantasy 15, understanding his role is key to understanding why that game looks the way it does. Here's a breakdown of who he is and his key concepts in simple terms. Who is Yusuke Naora? Naora is a veteran art director. Think of him as the visual architect of a video game. His job isn't just to draw one character, it's to decide what the entire world feels like. From the color of the sky to the grime on a city street. So basically, it's thanks to this guy that it looks like it does with the whole fantasy based on reality tagline. You know what I mean? And not to mention, you have all these different buildings that looks all super futuristic to where or well futuristic yet at the same time very much akin to real reality, because this clearly is taking inspiration from the likes of what's the word I'm looking for here, taking inspiration from the likes of uh, Japan's. I'm trying to remember the name of the main city in Japan. Do you?
Tokyo?
Yes, Tokyo. Thank you. Um,
All right.
so Tokyo is what clearly inspired the whole fantasy based on reality kind of art direction that we got here. To how we have all these characters walking about, we have cars. It's very much akin to, actual reality.
Yeah.
And due to that, it makes Final Fantasy Versus 13 feel so trippy just over that alone. How you have the likes of architecture that feels so akin to real life that it is practically a trip just to look at it alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And no doubt, because Square Enix is based in Tokyo, that probably had a huge part to do with why the architecture takes so much inspiration from Tokyo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And due to this, you have all these different moments where clearly they're trying to have like posters in the background, and
Yeah.
also this being practically his castle.
Yeah.
And what a trip of a castle it is.
Yeah.
Especially as you see in the first trailer that he's freaking warping up it and whatnot. And freaking just effortlessly freaking just wrecking anyone who dares to mess with him. And because of this, the whole uh man um uh I'm trying to remember what specifically you call these sort of these sort of man these character designs and how they look so akin to what you'd recognize as well, what you recognize as their initial character designs.
Yeah.
Yakuza. Basically,
Yeah.
the outfits are clearly greatly inspired by Yakuza outfits.
Yeah.
To where they may be the so-called the prince or king even of this place here, but despite it being the likes of a despite it being so heavily Yakuza influenced, it kind of makes you, I guess, wonder just how dark of rulers the likes of Noctis and his father was in the original version alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it makes you wonder, okay, so what were they rulers like? And then, how you have this freaking night with the invasion of Insomnia, the name of this city, where the crystal is stolen, and Noctis and his friends have to freaking get back at these guys by stealing back the crystal. Somehow, some way.
Yeah.
And that is still at the core of the main storyline in Final Fantasy XV itself. That being said, it clearly took a lot of inspiration from these kind of architectural designs that it definitely definitely was pretty different when the game finally did release.
Yeah.
This was from the trailer where you had Final Fantasy 15 renamed Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah.
And the architecture looks amazing still, but the darker tone got cut for the likes of trying to make it a bit more, a bit lighter in the end.
Yeah.
But with this, you see, for example, look familiar?
Yeah. Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts freaking command system.
Yeah.
Just now with an option for warp specifically. And being able to switch between the weapons on the fly for using any of them whenever the hell you wanted.
Yeah.
And right here was a meter that was for doing basically a super attack where you'd freaking go absolutely crazy with the warping and just absolutely wreck everyone's shit.
Yeah.
But, I mean, one of the things that sucked, of course, was how they literally took out the gratuitous violence that was once a part of Versus 13 alone. Which
Yeah.
gave it a sense of levity that made it feel like it was closer to reality because of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So by the time that they cut this out to do a new battle system where they have this D-pad symbol in the corner, the D-pad only allows you to switch between 4 weapons at a time,
Yeah.
which not as cool. Especially as you're holding down the X button to attack rather than you're hitting the X button to, like, in rhythmic timing. You know what I mean? With your combos.
Yeah.
Which is a huge part of what, honestly, would have been so much better if Final Fantasy Versus 13 kept that, I feel like. Because while it wasn't terrible what they did for a combat system in the end, it still just wasn't nearly as engaging as this immediately was to me.
Yeah.
Because the minute I saw this, I was like, wait a minute! Looks like Kingdom Hearts! Holy shit!
Yeah.
And, you know what, though? I am kind of curious. Let's see if this AI would happen to know why it got cut like that.
Yeah.
Okay. The transition you're describing from the fast-paced hack-and-slash feel of Kingdom Hearts to the more automated hold-and-switch system in Final Fantasy XV is one of the most debated changes in the series' history. Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah.
I mean, because let's be real here, when this was inspired by Final Fantasy to begin with, to where, you know, with early Kingdom Hearts betas, for example, we saw the whole the new combat system idea, how it was more of an action RPG. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's weird. Why would you change this? What reason do these guys have for that?
Good question.
It happened because the game went through a massive identity crisis during its 10 years development. Here's a simple breakdown of why the controls changed. The change in leadership, the original vision, Kingdom Hearts style. When the game was called Final Fantasy Versus 13, it was directed by Tetsuya Nomura, the creator of Kingdom Hearts. Early trailers showed a menu-based combat system where you'd tap buttons to attack, very similar to Sora's Adventures.
Mm-hmm.
So why the change then? You know, aside from I guess just we decided to change the guy who was in charge of the project.
Yeah.
Because if anything, it seems like a silly excuse to go, no, you're changing it because we tell you to. Kind of BS, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because let's be real, this didn't seem like a necessary change.
Yeah.
The final version, the hold system, in 2012, Hajime Tabata took over as director. He wanted the game to feel more like a modern action RPG and less like a traditional menu-heavy game. He introduced the active cross-battle system to make combat feel more fluid and less about mashing buttons.
Hmm.
I don't think that freaking helped at all, honestly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that. You know, mashing the buttons is.
Hello. Okay. Oh yeah. All right. I'll be back real quick.
Okay.
But yeah, I was gonna say. But yeah, mashing the buttons is kind of part of what made Kingdom Hearts
So
fun.
much fun.
I mean, like, yeah, I mean, if you were just
Because
holding
of
the
just
button
how
to
freaking fluid the combat felt in Kingdom Hearts always, to begin with.
yeah, like,
and then you have this right here.
Yeah.
So, right here is the D-pad system that was changed. And on one hand, I'll say that I kind of like the ability to change your weapon so freely. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because at the very least, I will say that when it came down to the more traditional gameplay system back then, you would still have to cycle through the weapons.
Yeah.
In order to get to certain specifics. You know what I'm saying? And with that being said, it's where on one hand I don't completely dislike what they did here, but at the same time I still feel like it was not a great idea either. developer moved to a hold down system for two main reasons. The road trip filling Tabata wanted the combat to be accessible. By holding the button, the game handles the basic animations, allowing the player to focus on the cinematic camera and the cool looking link strikes attacks made with your friends. And then also the tactical rhythm. Instead of focusing on how fast you can tap, the game wants you to focus on when to stop. If you hold attack, you're committed. You have to let go and hold the defend button to phase through attacks. It's more about a rhythm of attacking and dodging than just rapid hitting. Can't really say that I like that, honestly. As someone who really was excited when I saw this as the battle system before, I was expecting this to be what we got. And then I played the demo for freaking... what was it called? The Platinum demo. Where Noctis is in the majority of the story a young kid in the demo. And he's trying to go alongside his what ends up being kind of like a pet to him that he was given. Which was kind of a disappointment, if you ask me, personally. And due to that, it makes it very disappointing when you have this kind of system now. I mean, on one hand, I can kind of see how this is not a bad idea either. But it adds to how there isn't like a real rhythm to it, so to speak. Because you're holding down the button to contribute to these attacks. Which I'm just not the biggest fan of how that works, you know? But here is where it continues here. The D-pad weapon swapping as the core. In Kingdom Hearts, you usually stick to one Keyblade per fight. In Final Fantasy XV, Noctis's unique power is his Arminger, the ability to summon dozens of weapons from thin air. The goal, the D-pad allows you to switch weapons mid-swing. Now, this is where I do understand why they did this. This makes sense. Because this clicks completely. The idea of how, without doing this, you wouldn't have been able to switch between your weapons mid-swing like you'd want to. Example, you can start a combo with a fast sword, hit the D-pad to switch to a heavy great sword for a finishing blow, and then immediately switch to daggers to dash around. Right, replace the old way. The old system used a menu to choose magic or items. By moving weapons to the D-pad, the developer turned weapon switching into the primary way you express your style, similar to how Dante switches styles in Devil May Cry. Okay, that makes sense too. I mean, I'll give you that. But in the end, this was still something that I just felt like didn't really need to have happened, versus how you had this as the battle system, to where, yeah, you may not have been able to switch the weapons mid-range, but at least it ain't as ridiculous as how you'd have to choose the direction on the D-pad to continue your fighting. Let alone, at least with this only limited us to 4 weapons. See here? 5. And it looks like you could even have more weapons through it. And due to that, it also comes off like if this was the battle system instead of what Tabata went with, this would have been, I feel like, a bit more engaging. Because you're not limited to just 4 weapons. Thanks to this. It's just, I mean, wow. I'm kind of thinking about how you just had more options available to you. Yeah, you'd have to cycle through them actively, but you had more options in the end, which I think is a better trade-off. Because why would you want lesser weapons for the sake of switching your weapons like that? You know what I mean? Because if anything, with how this was instead, this seemed just far more engaging to me. Because, again, You might have to cycle through them to get your specific weapon, but you had more weapons to choose from. So, through that, you could, for example, have more weapons at your lineup at the ready instead of only being limited to 4. Because if we weren't limited to 4, I feel like we'd have a bit more. What's the word I'm looking for here? A bit more. What's the word? A bit more experimentation, since you weren't limited to just 4 weapons. But at the very least here, we have 5 of them to choose from. Oh yeah, Pocket Edition. The freaking cheapo mobile phone version that you did have access to on Switch and on Steam. Even because I'm pretty sure it was also available on Steam, and then you also had it available on the likes of the other storefronts as well. So it was kind of their way of going, we can somehow try to have it on Switch by just simply cheaping out for the Pocket Edition. Not to mention, it looked like there was more to the menu than just warp, attack, and link form. To where you, in this first example of the gameplay that I'm pointing out here, you at least had the ability to switch between all the different weapons freely. And not just being able to switch between those weapons, but getting to also select what you were choosing here. Because while you may be only stuck between these 5 potential weapon choices, that's 1 choice more than what we got in the end, and you had all of these different options in the menu that was beyond just simply, oh, press X to attack.
Yeah. I'm back, by the way.
It's alright. So I'm kind of thinking about how this would have been a much better combat system right here.
Yeah.
Simply because, for example, you had an extra weapon to make use of in the menu compared to just 4 right here. On top of warp, attack, and link form as options in the menu. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what we actually had for the gameplay also looked kind of Final Fantasy 13 inspired in many ways back then. Here we go. So, in the original PS3 release, we had magic, items, summon, and X arts and attack. And the ability to switch between your weapons freely. That sounds the most appealing, honestly. This right here. You also had an MP bar proper. This seemed like it would have been far more engaging, I feel like. Magic,
Yeah.
Venom, Summon, X Arts, EX Arts, which is clearly something that takes up this bar right here. So
Yeah.
you had like quite a bit of combat options in the original version that you saw released. And because of that, it's where I would definitely say I also preferred what the original gameplay was going to be like.
Yeah.
It's why this is for PlayStation 3. Because thing is, this was originally going to be exclusively for the PS3. So I will say this, they were dedicating to the hardest console to develop for. Which, understandably so, was going to be a challenge.
Yeah.
It's just that, despite that being a challenge, I feel like what we were gonna have beforehand was going to be kind of a trip overall.
Yeah.
And this is one of the trailers that I showed you the most because it's probably what was one of the most popular trailers for it back then.
Yeah.
And gotta say, with these freaking angels hanging over the Citadel, crying, is creepy, but just like so fitting too, probably. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of yeah. I mean, it could also symbolize believers crying out to God because things are so messed up, and
Yeah. I mean,
and
either that or maybe how God feels in
yeah, true.
in the end because God is dealing with his creation being wrecked before his very eyes. You know what I mean?
Hmm. And yeah, like I said, it feels kind of like also, the Old Testament book of Lamentations where where um Israel was being was had sinned so much that um it was being taken by Babylon, and the book of Lamentations was Jeremiah basically lamenting over it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So because of that, you can tell that that this was probably one of the most popular trailers for a reason. And that alone right there, too, how he's just swinging his freaking his blades around him to practically protect him from getting uh, wrecked by bullets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if anything, I'm kind of thinking how that could still kind of be part of why uh, it should have been that way to begin with. Because you could have just held down on the held like right on the D-pad and just had freaking Noctis's entire arsenal just spinning around him, protecting him at every freaking cost.
Yeah.
So it could act as kind of like a way to protect yourself as well, like a pseudo block kind of move. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, I can't blame Nomura for being bummed that he didn't get to finish this. I mean, he freaking announces this back in freaking Man, I'm trying to remember specifically when the likes of the PS3 trailers started dropping to begin with. So, thing is, we would have had this entirely to ourselves on PS3 too. Like, honestly, the amount of effort that went into this clearly was not just nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Down to where, personally, I could only imagine how upset Nomura may be because he put all of that time into those first couple of PS3 builds. And then he freaking ends up seeing Final Fantasy 15 freaking get replaced the way it did.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at anyone being upset over something like this if this was their job in the first place. You know what I mean? And again, the PS3 was notoriously hard to develop for. Down to where, I imagine that what we almost did have was going to be a trip. And it definitely wasn't easy to pull off.
Yeah.
I can't see any English subtitles, even though I turned on closed captions. Huh?
Yeah, I heard something about 13, so
maybe
just
that
on
was their
13.
way of kind of hinting at how it was going to connect into Final Fantasy 13 to begin with.
Yeah.
Because thing is, Final Fantasy 13 was also originally going to be PS3 exclusive. But eventually they freaking went out of their way to do the thing of basically making it multi-platform for the sake of making as much money as possible. And because of that, I imagine it probably made the development for Final Fantasy 13 as well a lot harder. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
今後両国間での平和利用を協議していくこととなり、この緊張緩和によって数百年にも及んだ両国の冷戦状態が終結することを
The true figure is still hidden in the sleeve. This is one of the most iconic songs in this game, too.
Yeah.
Omnis Lacrima. And this is Stella right here. Who was basically his rival.
Yeah, yeah.
It's so creepy and trippy how his eyes glow red. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it
Yeah,
does still happen in the main game too. It's just for some reason though it only happens whenever he summons.
yeah,
Rather than it being anything tied to his powers proper. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And Scenario Writer from Final Fantasy 7, 8, 10, 10 2, compilation of Final Fantasy 7, and also Kingdom Hearts and Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah.
So we we were going to have literally some of the best Final Fantasy games having their writer, their scenario writer, here for Final Fantasy Versus 13, including the best scenario writer for Kingdom Hearts.
Yep. Yeah.
And of course, Yoko Shimomura as
Or
the
yeah, Shimamura Yoko. Yeah.
as the composer.
Yeah.
And right here, you're seeing all these people gathering together for meetings with Nox's dad,
Yeah.
who is clearly far more what's the word I'm looking for here? Far more Yakuza-like to begin with. Which honestly makes it a trip to make you wonder, like, what was Nox's family doing that was not okay? If they had all these Yakuza kind of outfits and all that being sported, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it makes me wonder if they were sporting these outfits because they were doing some screwy shit.
Yeah.
And here's Noctis with his friends, Prompto and
Gladiolus.
yeah, Gladiolus and Ignis, right there. And
Yeah.
honestly, they were an engaging set of protagonists originally, to where you see that they were clearly planned to be a lot more in depth with the earlier builds, with how they were written to begin with, over just going, hey, let's just throw in some fucking cup noodles ads. Because, yeah, let's just throw in some fucking cup noodles ads. That'll work. No, it won't. If anything, freaking was a terrible idea.
Yeah.
And also, you had freaking people from Dissidia also working on this game, too.
Yeah.
And just look at how desolate this freaking deserted land is.
Yeah.
Look at that. Like, what the fuck
Yeah.
happened, dude?
Yeah, that's not normal.
Not only is that not normal, it's like a fucking earthquake ravaged the land. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not only did a earthquake ravage the land, but you're freaking seeing them just try and freaking somehow mosey along while all they got is a fucking car. and this is what they see beyond them. Yeah, that ain't nothing. To where it is clear that at some point the car was going to be ditched. You know what I mean?
True. Yeah, that makes sense, but yeah.
Because I don't see how the hell they would have fucking been able to keep the car for that.
Yeah.
And that's his dad right there. And then meeting Stella and having to fight her. Even though they were lovers, man, that had to fucking suck. You know what I mean? There's nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. William Shakespeare. Like, they were genuinely trying to make a freaking real tragedy out of this story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A tragedy that would have been freaking heartbreaking to experience. And genuinely, too, that was probably one of my favorite songs from the game right there.
Yeah.
Omnis Lacrima was the name of that song.
Yeah, which could also be significant in and of itself because that name translates to every tear. And with Noctis's friends, Ignis means fire.
Yeah, no joke.
Yeah.
So, like, there was something going on here with how this was going to become such an impactful story. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And this is literally some of the first gameplay that we actually saw back then. To where literally one of the big things is how you're freaking literally experiencing the invasion of insomnia firsthand. And also, you used to be able to also switch between your friends and play as them too. So if you wanted to fuck shit up for a hot minute and just wreck shit as Gladiolus with his giant ass sword, you could've. Or using Ignis's knives, or using Prompto's gun. To where Prompto had like a third person kind of aiming kind of gameplay.
Yeah.
And it's clearly a freaking story that would have been freaking so dark, down to how you were seeing that they were still freaking having full-on blood and gore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dude, I wanted to have enjoyed this so badly. Look at that. Freaking, looked like you had, what was kind of like the freaking aerial dodge in Kingdom Hearts 2.
Oh, yeah. Like,
Where it looked like Noctis literally boosted himself up even farther just to get on top of that tank. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
that would have been so cool.
Especially because Kingdom Hearts 2's the specifically the abilities in Kingdom Hearts 2 was a trip.
Yeah.
And how it allowed you to freaking move around so efficiently and so fluidly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, you know, as you can see, he jumped up here to freaking literally make use of that freaking tank's cannon to just fuck shit up. And even freaking using these mechs, too. Which is just so badass. And I'm so bummed we didn't get to enjoy stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this was a character that, RNA Highwind. So she's basically a dragoon. The conversation that they had here was a trip, too. And you can tell just how epic that song was, too.
Yeah.
So I'll, the memories of death. Because there's something tied into this storyline where the characters, when they literally experience death, it changes them forever.
Yeah.
With what is practically like a freaking curse that is just stuck on them. And they're stuck dealing with it. Where they are apparently seeing the dead. Like, that alone, imagine what that would have been like, dude. To where, like, what if freaking Noctis was stuck seeing his dad throughout the freaking journey as he's trying to avenge him?
Yeah.
And he's being tormented by his own father. Because he's like, Dad, I know you're not here. Why can't you just leave me alone? All for him to just be like, I wish that I didn't die, son, because I wish I could help you. I'm sorry. Like, that alone would be such a trip for the story alone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Now, here's where we start to see these two actually finally talk. Creepy how it's a freaking skeleton reaper, practically, who's like adorned on that freaking painting or whatever. Lord Noctis, you can see the light, don't you? So do I. That's what you were seeing below the stairs, right? Yeah, well, since when can you see it? Since I was a child. I assume you were close to death? Yeah. Were you too, Lord Noctis? Yeah. It was a really bad time. The goddess Etro will open the door to welcome the souls of the dead. When that happens, a bright light will shine down through the sky over the land of the dead. Few people have seen that light. Those who see it are bestowed power
From the land of the dead. Legend of Tenebra?
Those who see it are bestowed power from the land of the dead.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a legend from Tenebrae. We say the same thing here.
Yeah. By the way, Tenebra means darkness.
Ah.
Yeah.
Because that was the country that she came from, Tenebrae.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, literally, she was basically set against Noctis from the start. Whether she wanted to be against him or not.
Yeah.
Which is just hardcore, dude. Did you receive any power from them? Not at all. I don't need that kind of power. I'm fine as I am. Yeah, right? No matter the power. If it's at the cost of someone's life, I'd probably have nightmares. Yeah, it's a pretty ridiculous fairy tale. You should probably not tell anyone about the light. Why? Being different to other people can lead to problems, no? But if the legend is just a fairy tale, that light, what could it be? The truth is, it's just something that's there. Isn't that good enough? Stella, I have to go. I'm sorry to have taken your time, Lord Noctis. Just call me out. I have to go too. I feel that tonight I have received something from that light. I got to speak with you. You'll have nightmares. You're so mean, Lord Noctis. Noct. I'll call you like that next time. There's a Tenebrae next time. I'll guide you around. That sounds good. I'll think about it. About to say the same thing.
Wow. That was crazy.
Right? Dude, like imagine just what kind of a rivalry Stella and Noct would have had. if this
Yeah.
actually happened proper.
Yeah.
And specifically, that's Etro right there.
Yeah.
So that is at the core of this story originally. But then it was just ripped out, and the likes of Etro was, well, never really freaking never really got to actually be a part of the story properly.
Yeah.
For PlayStation 3 only worldwide.
Yeah.
Oh! Absolutely wrecking that big ass monster.
Actually, I think I might have mistranslated. Oh,
It's okay. Go ahead.
I think I might have mistranslated Fabula Noah Crystallis. I think it might actually. It's more like the news story of the crystal, actually, because I forgot that Noah being an adjective, it actually goes with fabula, so it would mean the news story. Yeah. So my bad there.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, what a trip of a freaking story. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is a fantasy based on reality. It's pretty impressive, right? It's almost as if we're being invaded. And his dad's like, yeah, that might be a little too close to truth right there. A meeting predestined by the divine. Goodbye, whoever you are. Lord Noctis, can you see the light? Don't you? So do I. The goddess Etro will open the door to welcome the souls of the dead. When that happens, a bright light will shine down through the sky over the land of the dead. So basically, it really is clearly a build-up to the end of the world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Few people have seen that light. Those who see it are bestowed power from the land of the dead. So fucking creepy, dude. receive any power from them? I don't know if it's Etro's light or what, but I don't like seeing it. But I wonder, why are there people who can see it and others who can't? I keep thinking that has some sort of... I keep thinking that has some sort of special meaning. The meaning of being able to see it? Yes. Like there is something I should be doing or accomplish. As I see the light of expiring souls. I see. So you were being used, huh? However, you cannot become a king. I'll not turn over the throne to anyone. My name will go down in history as the last king. An act of love by the last king. Oh. Like, it would have been so trippy to experience this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Specifically experiencing the likes of your kingdom basically crumbling to the ground.
Yeah.
And knowing stuff like your dad is dead. That would fucking suck, man.
Yeah.
Ignis, how are things going? Lucius is continuing like nothing happened. Prosperity is going to continue. Prosperity is going to continue alongside the crystal. I believe that's the best way it could end for Niflheim's sake.
Yeah.
That means we will do an assault and recover the crystal, right? No, be realistic, not. You saw my strength, didn't you? I saw it! But your body isn't used to your new power, is it? Isn't it? It must be tiring right now. You need more time. Noctis as a kid seeing his dad. Hey, let's go. Wait, why would I, the strongest one, run away? If you are present, there will be more victims. Why? Because you are their target. They probably want to take you hostage and have an exchange. They probably want to take you hostage and have an advantage in negotiations. Negotiations at this point? Oh, beat them all! Not unfortunately, you aren't that strong. Freaking RNF. You have a plan? 10 times worse?
That's this, or where's theirs?
I'll think of something to return it 100-fold. I figure that still lies asleep in the fantasy. And that was the last of the trailers that was specifically for back on PS3 and for back when it was Versus 13.
Yeah.
I mean, when you consider that, when you also consider how how they screwed over the game the way they did, it's hardcore. It's hard to even freaking to not be hurt that it didn't even release fully complete in the first damn place.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as someone who specifically wanted to see Nomura tell this story, I was definitely hardcore heartbroken that it was freaking held back from being a complete game like that.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, too, you can tell that it was clearly meant to be much, much more impactful originally how it was planned. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Down to how you were freaking there during the invasion instead of just simply freaking waking up one morning and being told, Insomnia just got invaded and your dad's dead. I mean, that is so fucked up that is how they freaking decided to treat that.
Yeah.
Instead of it being a true, genuine, like, gameplay experience. Especially when you had freaking... You had Noctis freaking... trying his ass off to freaking especially freaking want to take out the freaking enemy in anger like that.
Yeah.
And who could blame him? Because... Definitely. As someone who was... Who once lived in Portola, California.
Yeah.
It was heartbreaking how they freaking literally went out of their way to freaking kick us out by literally fraudulently foreclosing on us.
Mm.
Stuff like that alone freaking made me freaking wish that I could freaking take up freaking a weapon and just absolutely wreck those piles of garbage who did that to me.
Yeah.
And that was just over freaking having my fraudulently foreclosed home happen, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's especially messed up when fraudulent foreclosure happens, and specifically you also see it get freaking sold for ridiculously cheap.
Yeah.
It was stuff like that I don't mind. I still think about the heartache of my home being taken from me like that.
Mm.
To where, in a case like this, I relate to Noctis, I understand how he feels, and I freaking feel nothing but heartbroken for what he freaking goes through. But definitely heartbroken when it was literally meant to be his freaking home, you know?
Yeah.
It's part of why apparently fans are trying to recreate what did originally get planned with Final Fantasy Versus 13.
Yeah.
And you have freaking literally the original outfit added back in.
Mm-hmm.
There's the original outfit again. But this time also freaking paired alongside some more standard clothing for his friends.
Yeah.
to where basically they're trying to not only recreate the original gameplay that was planned for Versus 13, but
Yeah.
the Cydia Final Fantasy version. Basically, the fans are heartbroken that it got screwed over the way it did. I mean,
Yeah.
can you blame us?
No, I can't.
Square Enix will take it down. They don't want anyone acknowledging Versus 13. Besides, the real test would be bringing back the Versus 13 version of Gladio and Prompto. Because, to be fair, a lot of these characters were clearly modified when they got these newer versions, you know?
Yeah.
The script for Versus was finished and confirmed by Ferrari, the character designer of Arden, Aranea, Arden, Gentiana, Cindy, who got the script. So basically, Final Fantasy 15 is nowadays trying to be revived by mods. And makes me freaking imagine what the hell the mods would have been like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, hold on.
People are clearly not pumped with what happened. but people freaking want to try and get mad because people want to see it happen still. Buttery in the loins when his name comes up. Because I guess some people are freaking trying to get all pissy because of going, yeah, no, we want it to actually happen proper. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hmm.
Turn it into a dating sim. It didn't seem to actually happen though. Because if anything, it seems like people are wanting to it would be great to hold over Versus fans like myself until Square decides to go about making Versus similar to how 7 fans modded the PC version of 7 to look like an HD remaster of the game. But this one would require a little more work. To show demand if modders are capable of making something close to Versus, or at the very least something that uses all of the Versus stuff shown in the trailers, and if the mod becomes popular, it could show demand for an actual Versus game / trilogy series. So clearly people were getting all kinds of worked up for people are clearly getting all kinds of worked up for the idea of having Versus 13 proper.
Yeah. Sorry, I was doing something.
It's okay. Clearly people are thirsty for it to finally happen proper.
Yeah.
Probably because people would rather it freaking happen proper to begin with.
True. Heck, I've not played much Final Fantasy. Like, actually, I've never played a Final Fantasy game in my life, and I want this to happen.
Because you actually see the potential in this trippy story to begin with. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And I'm just thinking about how fans could maybe mod it into also being a lot more violent again, too.
Yeah.
To make it, like, look like it was, genuinely, gonna be a real, Final Fantasy 15 kind of game somehow being used proper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To have a mod basically be used to revive the story idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah, very much so.
And people freaking are getting all kinds of freaking pissy because people are like, I want this to happen. It's as if that ain't just freaking one person saying that. What do you know?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. They. Yeah, they. I'll just say it. They should have let Nomura work his magic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Amen to that, man. Because literally, this would have been such a trip to experience, especially as a Christian. You know what I mean? To experience
Yeah.
this as a Christian who is would be experiencing stuff like this for the first time.
Yeah.
Classic. Oh, 13 Classic. Final Fantasy Tactics Rebirth. AI enhanced cutscenes for 13. Versus mode redefined. Unrestricted edition. Just trying to see if there would be anything else for Final Fantasy VII that is like that, you know, or Final Fantasy versus 13.
Yeah.
Man. Because I am wondering where we could go for this.
Yeah.
However, a dedicated community of modders has spent years digging through the game's code to restore cut content, outfits, and locations that were originally meant for Versus 13. If you are on PC, here's how you can currently piece together that Versus experience. Number 1, the pre-invasion Insomnia restoration. The mod cut tutorial quest / expanded Insomnia by renewal.
Yeah.
Because this used to be built in, or this used to be clearly planned for the game and was cut out as just a freaking tutorial / a freaking demo for it.
Yeah. Like I said, I've seen your stream of the demo. It looks really good, actually.
Well, then you clearly understand how this alone would freaking be a lot to help it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh man.
Auto boot. Choose between playing the Cut 1.0 tutorial quests in Insomnia or the original endless battle in Insomnia that played during installation. Because obviously this was meant to be the freaking the freaking the thing that especially also adds in stuff like freaking adding in pre-invasion Insomnia itself alone.
Yeah.
The tool reshade. Lighting. from Versus 13. Re-adding the goddess Etro lore. While a mod can't fully change the story, some fans use the Vision 15 project or specific text replacement mods to bring back the original terminology. I mean, freaking if this was literally all we freaking had out of if this could end up adding it back in proper, dude, that's that's pretty freaking hardcore. And
Yeah.
shows especially that fans are basically trying to go out of their way
True.
no internet connection here, huh?
That's weird.
Especially given the fact that I was just trying to freaking access stuff that was originally planned.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know why it said no internet connection, because if you didn't have internet connection,
I couldn't
you would
even
have
be
been
talking to you.
yeah, you would have been disconnected from the call.
So
So what the frick? It's
so it's a case of some sort of a weird ass pull, it seems. But maybe maybe I need to I'm just trying to see if I can try and somehow search the freaking the mod videos to freaking try and find it.
yeah.
unlock quest characters, Lost Treasure, Final Fantasy, Horizon, Reshade, Renewals mod menu. Okay. Titled Horizon, a mod called Horizon for specifically the vehicle, so that you could end up quite literally freaking making use of it a bit more thoroughly. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, true. Oh, yeah, back.
Okay. Damn. Unlock guest characters. what I am able to find is pretty freaking trippy.
Hmm?
For what was what was literally in the top mods or whatever.
Yeah.
It includes stuff like alternate versions of the regalia that basically include alternate versions to make use of it. Then, of course, Lost Treasures being like full of a bunch of stuff that was originally exclusively kept as all you get through only mods, it seems.
Yeah.
Like Lost Treasures, one of the mods that it gives you off the bat is Nox's original Versus 13 outfit. The one you saw in the original trailers.
Yeah.
Where it looks definitely a decent bit different compared to what he has now for a outfit.
Hmm.
Right here.
Yeah.
So literally there is clearly a lot of stuff that is being added back in through mods like this. So yeah, there's clearly a lot here that you can at least make use of thanks to that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Man. So, yeah. With all this combined, that's kind of the gist of what happened to Final Fantasy 15. A game that, honestly, I do feel kind of robbed on. Considering what I had for freaking what they had for mods versus what they almost did for mod or for DLC. Because let's be real, DLC is kind of like mods or whatever too.
Yeah.
And due to that, well, it's kind of a trip. Down to how it I guess that is kind of it, though. I mean, clearly, it is a shame how much we got robbed on getting something far more engaging. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hold on.
All right,
Sorry.
it's okay.
Getting something to drink.
All right.
So, when you look at the likes of what really was almost pulled off here, it's a whole trip on that alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ah. Our fellow friend he shared a link.
Hello and welcome
to
back, ladies and
a
gentlemen.
site
This is,
that,
of course, Sugager RPG here, and
is
today, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is,
joining
of course,
with,
Sugager RPG here, and today
So, I'm not sure if that is to be trusted or not. Alright. Huh. We actually did get 5 views while we were doing it. And, well, thank you to those who watched. Especially if you were a fan of Final Fantasy 15 as well, and you were disappointed in what happened with it, then thank you so much for where you did help. And God bless each and every last one of you in the mighty name of Jesus. We pray.
Amen.
Amen. Yeah, the Guardian of Light freaking profile that I do have added freaking apparently it sent me a freaking supposed bonus.
Yeah.
Is it trying to tell you it's a phishing link too?
I would not trust it. You know, I at this point, if it seems like random or too good to be true, chances are you shouldn't trust the link.
Yeah.
That's, you know, that's because